Good evening, everyone. It's Willzilla, and welcome back to the channel. And today we're talking about the tropics and that they are heating once again, and that tropical storm Gamma has formed near the Yucatan Peninsula. Before I do get started with the video, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do enjoy the weather-related content that I do provide, and make sure to hit that like button. Let's see if we can't get this video up to 10 likes. And I want to say thank you guys so much for all the support on the last video. We're really close to 100 subscribers at the time I'm recording this. We're sitting at around 82 to 83, and I just want to say thank you guys. It means a lot, and it really motivates me to get these videos out for you guys. So here you can see on the National Hurricane Center's area of disturbance, we have Tropical Storm Gamma, and then we have 3 new disturbances out in the Atlantic/Caribbean, and then we need to be monitoring this system right here, as this could become our next hurricane, possibly our next major hurricane. So here you can see on the 5-day outlook, we have this storm that we need to be monitoring up to around a 40 to 60% chance of forming, and then these two systems out kind of in the Atlantic right now are sitting at around a minus or under a 40% chance of forming, and we're actually going to be heading over to the National Hurricane Centers, and we're going to be looking at these individually. So here on NDES 92L, which is going to be the system that we need to be monitoring from the 2 o'clock advisory, shower and thunderstorm activity has become more consolidated since yesterday near a tropical storm wave located over the central Caribbean Sea. Environmental conditions are expected to become more conducive for development, and a tropical depression could form next week while the system moves westward or west-northwestward at about 15 miles per hour across the central and western Caribbean Sea and then into the southern Gulf of Mexico. Locally, heavy rainfall and gusty winds will be possible across portions of Hispaniola, Jamaica, Cuba, and the Cayman Islands during the next few days, and interest of those islands should monitor the progress of this disturbance. As you can see here, in the next 2 days or 48 hours, low 30% chance of forming, and then in the next 5 days, around a mid 60% chance. And then here for disturbance number 3 that they have it, an area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms over the central Atlantic more than 1,000 miles southeast of Bermuda is associated with a surface trough of low pressure. This system is expected to move toward the west-southwest at about 10 miles per hour, and some slow development is possible during the next couple of days before it encounters strong upper-level winds or shear. So that does have about a 10% chance of forming here in the next 5 days as well as the next 2 days. And then disturbance number 2, from the 2 o'clock advisory, a tropical wave located over the central tropical Atlantic is producing disorganized showers and thunderstorms. This system is expected to move toward the west-northwest or northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour, and some development is possible along the next couple of days before it encounters strong upper-level winds. So these storms are expected to run into some pretty strong winds that could cause these storms to fall apart. So now we're going to go back and we're going to dive into Tropical Storm Gamma, and we're going to be looking at the key messages from the 4 o'clock advisory from the National Hurricane Center and NOAA. So number 1 does say that Gamma is expected to produce heavy rainfall for several days over portions of southeastern Mexico, the Yucatan Peninsula, Central America, and far western Cuba. This rainfall could result in life-threatening flash flooding and mudslides, particularly in the mountainous regions of southeastern Mexico and Central America. And number 2 states, even though Gamma has moved inland, tropical storm conditions will continue along the east coast of the Yucatan Peninsula through this evening and are expected to spread along the north coast within the tropical storm warning area tonight and on Sunday. So there's nothing really new with this. All these storms are going to have flash flood, and they're going to be very dangerous, so you need to be listening to your higher authority if you do live in the Yucatan Peninsula. Here is a close review of the tropical storm warnings and its wind field. So the blue are tropical storm warnings. You can see down here on the bottom of your screen what the different colors mean. And then here you can see its current wind field of tropical storm force winds is about that. So that's how big you can be, or how far you can be feeling these winds that are tropical storm status. And it looks like it is expected to remain as a tropical storm all the way up until Wednesday. So we'll have to be keeping our eyes to see how long this storm will kind of keep its tropical storm status. And here's another kind of closer view, and that was the cone. Here's a little closer view as well. You can see where it did reach tropical storm status right in here. That's where it was first felt with their tropical storm force winds. And now here we look at some satellite imagery. So on the right side of your screen is what we call the convection scale, or cloud top. So the deeper the convection, the heavier the rainfall is going to be. So here you see right in here there is an area of pink, which means it's over or around negative 90 and possibly even higher than that. So if that area does make landfall, which it probably has already, that could be part of the very, very heavy rainfall that we are expecting. And it is surrounded. Sorry about that. It is surrounded by another area of deeper convection right on the outskirts of it, and then on the back side as well we do see an area of possible convection that could be producing some pretty extreme rain as well. Here on the water table just pretty much just shows where the convection kind of is. So you can see this storm is kind of affecting parts of Florida. You could be experiencing some possible rain with that as well. And then here you can kind of see it in the middle. You can see where that deeper area of convection is right in here. So that's probably where the low is, where all that heavy convection is as well. And then here on the true color basically just kind of shows what the storm looks like with looking down from outer space or from satellite imagery. So that area of convection right there maintaining its strength. Looks like it might be kind of falling apart a little bit, but other than that, it's still very, very strong at this time. So that could be where this very life-threatening rainfall could be. So now we're going to be looking at some track model guidances. So you can see most of the models are very consistent with it having a sharp right-hand turn and then kind of falling off. The models don't go out that far because we don't want to produce the most accurate forecast that we can. But at around the 72-hour mark, some of the models do have it kind of turning right and going into the Gulf. Most of the models have it very, very consistent with it turning right and then going straight down. And I will get into my forecast here in a little bit. And here is another track model of mine from the GEFS. I don't really use a GEFS model very well. It's not very consistent with what I've seen this year. So this storm, they're saying, is going to be around a 1,002 millibar storm once it goes to the Yucatan Peninsula. But this is just a kind of showing of what could happen here. And then here is another area, just kind of what a general area of different types of models that are just kind of used around the world. And now we're going to look at the intensity guidance, or how strong this storm could possibly get. So most of the models are very consistent with it remaining at a tropical storm status. A couple models do have it reaching a hurricane status with the EGRI as well as the RI-25 here in about 24 hours. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it will remain at a tropical storm. The models are very consistent with it, as well as the forecast models on Tropical Tidbits. And then here's my forecast. So I have it at its peak being at around 985 millibar storm, which is where it's at right now. And then in 24 hours, that's when I have it kind of hitting its right or left-hand turn with 60-mile-per-hour winds at its highest, with pressure down to 990 millibars. And then in 48 hours, I have it at 50 to 55 mile-per-hour winds with 996 millibars. And then in 72 hours, at around 45 to 50 miles per hour with pressure down to 1,005 millibars. So if you are new to the channel, what pressure basically is, you want that to be as high as possible. So around the thousands is where storms typically will start to kind of fall apart, but the lower the number, the more intense the storm or system it could be. And then here are the current stats. So the current pressure is at 985 millibars. The winds are at 55 knots or at 65 miles per hour. And those are sustained winds. And those are winds that have been withheld within the storm from hurricane chasers for at least over a minute. So it did have winds at around 65 miles per hour in an area of the storm. And then current movement is northwest at 7 knots or at 8 miles per hour. Current location on the latitude longitude scale is at 20.7 north, 87.7 west. So now we're going to be getting into Invest 92L, which has has my attention at least. You can see another deep area of convection really kind of starting to form on the southeastern side of the storm as well, kind of towards the north of it as well. Here on the wide river, you can clearly see that convection really start to kind of fire off right in here. So that's probably where the low is, or where the area of low pressure as well. And then you can see that area of convection really kind of start to show up here on satellite towards the north of that as well. And then here on the true color, you can see it is nighttime where this storm is, so that's why it's kind of in the night vision as well. So you can see right in here the same story. You can clearly see that convection really kind of starting to fire off And then here on the track guidance, there's only 2 models out on it right now. So if you were on the Gulf Coast, you need to be paying attention to this system very, very closely, as it could be hitting you in 120 hours to possibly 168 hours according to these 2 models. And then here on the intensity guidance, this has it at a category 3 at its peak, possibly a low-end category 4 with the LGEM model, but there's only maybe 1, 2, 3, there's only 6 models out on it right now. It's just way too far out to determine anything, but you need to be keeping your eyes on this if you are in the Louisiana, Mississippi area as well. And then now we're looking at some models, so you can see right down here, well, it was there, that's where gamma is, and then the model doesn't really pick up. There it is right there. That's that Invest 92L that could be happening. We'll have to be keeping our eyes on. Wait, no, that's gamma right there. I'm sorry. Here is Invest 92L up here, and then we're going to be moving over to the US or the wide view. Now, I want you to look kind of at the East Coast here for a second, because looks like a system that could be our next tropical storm right here, right there. That could be our next tropical storm that comes off the US coast, as well as one right here. And then we do have a system down towards that's coming off the coast of Africa as well. So the tropics are expected to kind of heat back up with multiple waves kind of coming off the African coast. So that this is the circle where these waves or cyclones or monsoons that comes off the coast of Africa kind of where they kind of form and become tropical depressions as well. So now we're kind of going to be looking at the wind shear, and I will explain this. So you can see up towards the top, the stronger the shear, the better it will kind of break apart storms, and then the weaker it is, the more time that storm has to develop. So you can clearly see a nice area of pretty strong convection towards the north near Louisiana that could cause that Invest to kind of halt as well. And then kind of where Tropical Storm Gamma is, there is some shear that could cause that storm to kind of fall apart and not rapidly intensify. So here, red is unfavorable conditions, green is favorable, and yellow is neutral. So here is Tropical Storm, where it's the Tropical Storm Gamma is somewhere right in here. As here is the Yucatan Peninsula. So you can see it's in some pretty favorable conditions to intensify, but up to the north we have about 30 to 50 knot shear. That's going to be highly unfavorable conditions for anything to kind of form up towards the north in the Gulf of Mexico. And here's another shear graph, so you can clearly see here's Tropical Storm Gamma right now, and then up towards the north we are possibly looking at around maybe around 30 to 50 knot shear kind of sitting in the Gulf of Mexico right now. And then you can see down towards the Atlantic where the Leeward Islands are. Here, the Leeward Islands, there's not much shear going on down here, so that could possibly form or help some of those storms that we were seeing on the models, kind of help them to form until hopefully they hope that shear is gone as well. So here you can see the atmospheric moisture, so that dry air is practically where the shear is right now in the Gulf of Mexico. And then you can see the very moist waters kind of in the western Atlantic region, and then down towards the south near the Leeward Islands you can see kind of favorable conditions for storms to form down there. And here you can see the tropical intensity guidance, or where these storms are very favorable to kind of intensify. So you can see right here in the Gulf it's not very favorable due to that shear that has been sitting there. And then as well here you can see where these storms are probably going to be looking to intensify in probably very favorable conditions. And that's what these storms are looking for, areas that could help them intensify. Here are the sea surface temperatures. So you can see down near Mexico and Cuba, you can see mid to upper 80s in that region. It's going to help those storms intensify. Up towards the north near Miami, low to mid 80s to help in that general area, so storms may have a hard time going there. And then up near the Carolinas, low 70s to low 80s. So that's a good area for storms to go, so you don't be as strong, as they will have some uplifting, which is basically cold water getting into the storm, which helps kind of have that storm fall apart. And then here on the Saharan air dust, so here is Tropical Storm Gamma right now, and you can see that area of low pressure, or not low pressure, of low air as well. And then you can kind of see where Invest 92L is. Here is that wave right here, that disturbance number 3, I think, and then here is disturbance number 4 up towards the north as well. Well, that's going to do it for the video, guys. Hopefully you all did enjoy. Make sure to hit that red subscribe button down below, turn those notification bell icons, smash like button, and I will see you guys in the next video.